Hey guys, my name is Harry and I am the designer of Fantasy Map Maker. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. In it, I hope to teach you most of the rules of the game. And if you like, you can also play alongside me. All you need to do is stop right now and download a copy of the game sheet that I'll put a link to in the description. This is just one of many game sheets that will be available in the physical copy of the game, but we do have this one available for free as a demo if you would like to play along. And so you're listening to a game sheet, so print that off and just a pencil if you would like to play against me. Otherwise, if you just want to tune in to see how the game works and the basic rules, then you've come to the right place as well. So Fantasy Map Maker is a map making game, obviously, where we're going to be rolling dice and drawing features on our map and then aiming to score points from different quests or scoring cards that we have chosen at the start of the game. This is going to be a playthrough of the prototype for the physical edition, which is currently on Kickstarter. So if you watch this video and you are interested in getting yourself a copy, then please do check out the Kickstarter. And if you've already supported us on Kickstarter, then thanks a lot. But without further ado, let's get into Fantasy Map Maker. Here we are creating a fantasy map by rolling dice, choosing different features in our feature wheel and adding them to our map here. And at the end of the game, we'll score based on these 5 quests. There's also an event system that we can play with. In this case, we won't, but the way events would work is we just have a deck of event cards. They're shuffled up, and whenever doubles are rolled, we would just flip an event and then resolve its effect, and then just remember to score that at the end because we may lose points depending on how we have placed different features. But we don't need to worry about that today. Today, we're just focusing on these 5 quests. I'll come back to these quests in a moment. First, I think it's best to just see how the game plays a little bit first, and then I'll come back to that, so then we know how we're actually scoring points and so forth. We begin by rolling 2 dice, and then we record the number in the middle. It doesn't matter which order you put them in, so 3, 6. I could have put 6, 3, doesn't matter. And this is going to give us the coordinate of our first landmark, meaning we can put it in the 6th row and 3rd column, or the 6th column and 3rd row. So either here or here. So you can choose either of these options, and you can choose any of these 4 options for landmarks. So we have castles, which equal 3 points during score. They equal 3 houses, I should say, during scoring. We have ships, which allow us to ignore a rule where we're just having to add features to explored spaces and then spread out. However, if you have a ship, you can ignore that rule for the rest of the game. So these both have persistent abilities. Then there are 4 landmarks that have one-time abilities. The keep allows us to ignore dice results, effectively almost a re-roll, but basically you're skipping around. A mine allows us to add 2 to one of the dice values. Ruins allow us to take the total of the dice and redistribute them, as long as the number makes sense. So in this case, 6 and 3 makes 9, so we could turn that into a 4 and 5, but just a 4 and a 5. We couldn't turn it into a 2 and a 7 because obviously there's no 7 on our dice. And then we have the temple, which allows us to add or subtract 1 to one die value. So think about which one you want and think about which space you want, and then I'll give you a moment and you can pop the landmark, your landmark in the space, probably drawing it about a third of the size of the space, if that makes sense. In my case, I'm looking at our quests a little bit, and I think I'll just choose a castle, and I'll explain why in a moment. And I'll choose maybe this space here. So here's my castle. And now we have started. Oh, and the last thing I do is I just put a C here just to remind myself that I've drawn a castle there. And now we can start. So on the first roll, we get a 1 and a 3. So our options are to choose the 1 wedge or the 3 wedge. So we need to either choose a mountain or a river. And so whatever you choose, the opposite number is going to be what you put in the box. So if we choose a mountain, that's the first wedge, then we put a 3 here. And if we choose a river, that's the third wedge, then we put the 1 there. So that's the way that is going to work. And each feature will work a bit differently. I will start with a river, I think, and just show you how these features work, which are long features. So I'm going to put a 1 there. So long features, rivers, coastlines, and roads, the way they work is whatever number you put there is how many grid lines, including the edge of the map, your feature is going to overlap or cross. And so in this case, this is only 1. So, and a part of the feature that you add always has to be in an explored space. So I have to start somewhere in my explored space here. This is the only explored space I have, but I can start to branch out anywhere. So maybe I just want to cross here with my river, and maybe this river kind of goes down here. Whoa. Okay, and you have a lot of freedom with how you draw it. Draw your features and where you draw them, just as long as you follow the basic rules, which in this case is to overlap 1 line. And that's it. All right, so then we go again. Oh, and if you chose, actually, let's talk about the mountains as well. So if you chose mountains, mountains and forests work the same way in that they're going to overlap the intersections of the grid lines, including the border. So if you had have chosen 3 mountains, you could have gone like 1, 2, 3, and then drawn a mountain range overlapping any 3 connected intersections. Just remembering that at least one of them would have had to be in an explored space. So that's how mountains and forests work. These are large features. All right, but let's continue. 3 and 5. Oh, 3 and 5, I think that was. All right, so we have the option now. Now with the 3 wedge, I can go a bit further. I can either choose streams or mountains. Of course, because that's a 3, then I need to do either 5 mountains. So that would be quite a big mountain range, or 3 streams. Now, streams can be used in a few different ways. In one way, they become the source of a river, so where a river starts. They can also branch off of rivers, and in fact, they can branch off of any water source, basically, including coastlines. So you can have little streams that branch off coastlines. So those are streams. Our other option is to go into the 5th wedge and choose a 3, which is a coastline, which I mentioned earlier how that works, in that it's also a line that is going to overlap the grid lines like the river that we added earlier. And so I think we will choose coastlines. So we put the 3 there because the 5 was used to choose the wedge. And then we have to think of 3 grid lines that this is going to overlap. So I'm thinking maybe this can be a small river that just terminates into the coastline here. So maybe coastline can, maybe we can have it go maybe up here, maybe here. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then we can just draw it in. There we go. So usually when I make these videos, I usually put a bit of music or and take my time kind of drawing the different features. But one thing I kind of want to show you in this video is that you don't have to take a long time to draw each feature, and you certainly don't need to be an artist to enjoy this game. Really, as long as you are happy to draw something, it doesn't matter what your drawing skills are, you'll still be able to create a pretty cool map. I did want to mention as well, I mentioned streams before. One thing to mention is streams function the same way as houses, islands, and lakes. These are all small features, and they all need to be placed within spaces, but they don't need to be placed within the same space. So in this case, for example, if I had gotten 3 and 4 and I chose 4 streams, I could maybe add 1 here, had one coming off the coastline, another one flowing into the river, another one going there. So you can always split those up, and the same with the other small features. And with that, I've almost explained everything. The only other thing to explain is names, and they can be drawn anywhere, and you can use names you can ascribe them to any part of your map, even unexplored areas. However, adding a name to a place doesn't mean that that place is now explored. So imagine you're an explorer looking out into the distance and giving a name to something that you actually haven't visited yet, then that might help you remember it. But that's names, and they're the basic features, really. The only other thing to keep in mind is actually the landmarks after the first landmark will be a little bit different. So I'll explain that when we come to it. But in any case, we're up to our next round. 6 and 1. Okay, so I could do one road or 6 mountains. Well, in this case, according to our quest cards, we're not actually scoring anything really for mountains or roads. So it's not really going to matter which one, although we do need to kind of think about what we want to aim towards next. And I'm thinking we probably want to start adding some forests soon. And so I think one road makes sense. So put the one there. And maybe our one road can be a little road from this castle heading off to the west. And that's it. It's across one line. So that's it. All right. And before we move on to our next round, I just want to go over the quest cards now, which are the scoring cards for the game, just so that you can have that in the back of your mind. And you may have been kind of eyeing this off as we as I started anyway. But let's go over it a little bit. Anytime you play, there's going to be 5 categories. One is geology. We have landmarks, nature, towns, and the wheel, which just pertains to just basically this section of the game sheet, mostly. Starting with geology, we have 1 point per space the largest continuous coastline is in. So right now, we have a coastline that is in 4 spaces, so we'd actually get 4 points for that. But we're going to want to continue this as much as we can. Next, we have distant lands, which means we get 4 points per landmark that has no landmarks in surrounding spaces. So right now, that's only 4 points, but if we add a landmark to a surrounding space, then it's not worth anything. So we want to make sure the landmarks are separated. And next we have verdant vistas, which is going to give us 1 point per space that has forest and either a river or lake. So the main thing is to ensure a lot of spaces have forest in this map. Next we have the capital, which is spaces earn points for how many houses they contain. And that maxes out at 15 houses. Just reminding you that castles are worth 3 houses. So right now that's actually 3, so that's worth 1 point. And we could keep adding houses to this space here until we get 15, and then there's not really any point adding more because we would have got the maximum of 15 points. Then we could look at making another little town somewhere. And lastly, we have close the wheel, which is our wheel quest, which is going to give us 4 points per completed wedge. So we have 6 wedges. So the maximum we could get for that would be to fill in everything in all of the wedges, and then we would get 24 points. It's worth mentioning that there is a cap of 20 points for each quest. So technically it should be 20, but I say technically because as part of the update to the boxed edition, I'm pretty confident we're actually going to remove this cap and make a few minor adjustments to the AI opponent scores here to accommodate that, so that you won't need to worry about scores being capped at 20. But for this playthrough, we will just cap any score at 20, but I just want to put a caveat on that for now. So they are our scoring cards, and we're ready to keep going. 3 and 1. Maybe a 1 would be good. Yeah, maybe just 1 mountain is not bad because it's either 1 mountain or 3 mountains. Mountains aren't going to help us that much. So I think we'll go with 1, and we can add it anywhere as long as part of it is in an explored space. So I'm feeling like here might be, or maybe even here. Maybe here might be nice. So let's add our mountain. There's our mountain, and it just has to overlap the intersection of the grid, which it has done there. Then we keep going. 3 and 2, that was. All right, so we could add 3 coastlines, or we could think about doing another landmark, and I think we'll actually do that. So the way landmarks work after the first landmark is you would put the other number here. So in this case, 3 and 2, and that would be actually it for the round. So if you're playing along and you chose something else, then you would add your other feature, and then on the next round you would choose one of these numbers for the second coordinate. Now, so I could choose 2, 4 or 2, 6. So we got, let's just go over the 4 options. We got 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 6, or 2, 6. So this is the only option we really don't want, because then that's going to mean that we have 2 landmarks next to each other and we won't score for our landmark quest. So I think we'll go maybe 2, 6 could be good. It's out of the way over there. And I'm feeling maybe some ruins could give us some flexibility in the future when we need it. So adding the ruins here. And so when it comes to landmarks, they don't need to be in explored spaces, because the coordinates of where you place them is according to whatever you've written here. So you can ignore the exploration rule when it comes to landmarks. And now, in fact, this space is considered explored. So I would be able to start from here even on the next round. So just a reminder, as you're adding landmarks, you add them over a period of 2 rounds rather than just one like you do for regular features. So if you're playing along, I might be adding 2 features while you're adding 1 landmark over the course of 2 rounds. Okay. All right, double ones. So I mentioned earlier events that would have triggered an event if we're playing with events, but we're not today. So um, it's just going to give us a 1 mountain. We don't really have a choice there, but of course we have a choice of where we're going to put it. And I'm thinking maybe this can be kind of a mountainous area over here. Thinking that's kind of what's going on. Some ruins, bit of a strange mountain. There we go. And as I've drawn this, I've realized this is a bit strange, because I do need my coastline to go around here. So need to think of what I'm going to do here. Maybe this is kind of a bit of a rocky old coast, part of the coast, but we'll get to that soon. 4-3. Okay. So 3 forests could be good. And I think we will do that, because if I add another coastline here, that's going to mean there are only 2 more features left. And the game will end when either we cannot place a feature, because, for example, the dice results mean that there's nothing left for us, or we just we roll and we're not happy to add anything, we can just stop. That's another way that the game will end as well. So I'm going to choose forest. I'm going to go 3. But yeah, just on the game end thing, when you're playing in a group, typically the rule that you would apply is after one person has ended their game, everyone else would get 1 more turn. For the sake of this playthrough, though, we're going with a more relaxed mode where you can take as many turns as you want. So you may, in fact, play longer than me if you're playing with me now, and you would just be continue rolling the dice after I've finished. Or it's possible you'll actually end the game earlier than me. So just wanted to mention that as well. Anyway, over to forests. They're the same as mountains when it comes to placement, and we're going to overlap 3 lines. So I think we want to overlap this one here, and maybe this one here. So I like to just put just a note which ones I'm going to overlap first, and then I'll draw my little forest. Of course, you could draw it any way you want. This is a bit of a pine forest here. It's worth mentioning as well that if you've taken up too much space with how you've drawn a feature, so in this case, if I really took up a bit too much space with how I've placed my forest there, I can go back and make minor adjustments to give yourself a little bit more space, as long as you're not actually changing where the feature fundamentally is. So you're not changing the line lines that are being overlapped across, then that's okay. All right, that's good enough. All right, there's my forest, and we keep going. 3 and 6. So I could get 6 coastlines, which is pretty tempting, or I could get 3 coastlines or 3 forests. I could also get 6 names or 6 streams, but that's not really going to help us out much. This part of the coastline is bothering me a bit, so I think I'm going to actually, at the risk of closing the 3 wedge up early, I am going to choose the 6 for coastlines, and I'll cross over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. There's my coastline. It has wrapped around. There's kind of hidden ruins over here, and there's 2 mountains. And we keep going. 4 and 5. So if you do 4 houses, that could be good. Or I could do 4 rivers. That wouldn't be bad as well. Landmarks do score you a lot of points. So I'm thinking this wedge has a landmark in it. So I'm thinking it's good to get closer to that. And it's also good to continue our endless coast. So let's choose a 5 for the coastline. And let's have it cross. Maybe we can finish this part of the coast. 1, 2, yeah, actually we'll come back to that. We'll keep trucking along with this one. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one coastline there. Some little lines just to show that it's the coastline. Okay, and we still have 1, 2, 3 coastlines left, so we still have time to close up that coastline. And keep going. 1 and 3. So I want a big number for the houses, and I don't want to add anything more to the 3rd wedge because there's only 2 more features left in it. So I will choose coastlines again, and I'll put the 3 there. And I think now it's probably a good time to close up at least one of these sections of coastline. Let's close off this part here. So let's go 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. 3 and 6. Not going to use anything here for the reason I mentioned earlier. Could do another coastline of 3, and maybe that would also close that off. Or I could do a forest of 3. Yeah, maybe a forest could be good. Yeah, actually, no, let's finish the coastline. Let's get that out of the way. And that also gives us access to houses soon too. So yeah, let's finish that coastline. And there's 3, so let's go 1, 2, 3. All right. So there's our coastline done. We still have one more possible coastline feature, and I'll show you what we can do with that when we come to it. Okay. 3 and 5. I want to avoid that, I think. So we could do 3 houses or 3 rivers. Let's go 3 rivers. Let's have another river flow. Yeah, let's have another one kind of go here. 1, 2, 3. Like that. And when a river meets a coastline, you can just erase it. So it looks a little nicer. And have it flow there. And the reason I'm doing that is because we do have that Verdant Vistas quest where we're getting points for spaces that contain both forest and either a river or a lake. We move on. 3 and 1 again. Okay. All right. Now we can do islands. I mentioned islands before. They're another kind of small feature. I think we want to do another landmark though. We should be fine with that. So I'm going to put the 3 there. Just need to make sure we're avoiding these 2 spaces. All right. So I can go 3, 1, or 3, 2. So I can go here, 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 or here. Maybe we'll go up here. Maybe this can be a This can be a keep. Oh, maybe over here it might be. No, I'll save that area. Up here, this can be a keep. All right. We'll put a K there, and that was 3, 1. So in the future, when I do choose to use either my ruins or my keep ability, whenever you don't need to use it, of course, but when I do use it, I put a little check mark there just to remind myself that I've exhausted that ability. Let's keep going. 1 and 5. Okay, so 1 could be 1, add a 1 to any of these features, or I could add a 5 to any of these features. Another option, of course, is I could use the ruins to change that into a 2 and a 4, or 2 3s. And I think I might actually do that, in fact. I'm going to use the ruins and change that into a 2 and a 4. And that means I can put a 4 here, and I can make a coastline, and this coastline's already kind of finished up. But what I can do is I can start it in an explored space, and I can make a bit of an island down here by having it cross over 4 spaces like that and connect back on itself like that. It's worth mentioning that you could also use this trick to make a big lake in a land section by having coastline wrap around on itself. However, that lake would not count for some nature scoring, such as this scoring. So lakes made using coastlines do not count. All right, so that's that. And that gives us access, hopefully, to some more getting close to that forest and also the house in the second wedge. 6 and 1. Ooh, okay. 6 houses could be good, but also adding landmarks is always good too. So I think we'll do that. We'll go 1. Then on this next round, 5 and 3. So if you go 1 and 3 here, and this spot is safe, or 1 and 5 here, and that's also safe. This will not be safe though, because it has a landmark in the on a surrounding space, so that wouldn't be good for our distant lands quest. So let's go. I think we'll do 1 and 3 again, as we did before. We won't choose this 1 and 3, of course, because then we'd lose points for it. So I should point out that surrounding spaces includes the space itself. So you can't have multiple landmarks in the same space they won't score as part of this quest. And let's do something different now. Let's go with a temple, which will allow us to add or subtract 1 to a future die value. And it was up here, wasn't it? 1 and 3. So here is my temple. Okay. And we press on. 1 and 6. Okay. Now is a good opportunity to do 6 houses, because we haven't scored many points for this quest at all yet. And now's a great time to do that. And it probably makes sense to have this be our capital, because we already have 3 houses in the form of a castle there. So we can add 6 more houses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. And we keep going. 5 and 1, that was. 5 and 1. Not many great options here. A lake lakes are going to be useful for our Verdant Vistas quest, so we don't want to blow a 1 on it just yet. So I think we'll go 5 on 1 and just use the 1 for mountains. And maybe we can, I mean, this is kind of a mountainous area here, isn't it? Maybe that's where we put our last mountain. Yeah, let's do that. This is a bit of a smaller one here. Little mountain. Okay. So as you're probably guessing, as you're watching this, is really depending on the quest cards that you do choose, your maps will head in a bit of a different direction because there's not much incentive to create a lot of mountains in this map. Then there's just this kind of rocky area out here, but some maps will be different where you're incentivized to add a lot of mountains in an area, and that will give you a pretty mountainous land. We keep going. 5 and 2. Okay, could do 5 rivers, 5 roads, 2 houses, 2 lakes, or 2 roads. Huh. Maybe let's go 5 rivers. Or maybe we could have a river going through. I like the idea of a river going through this valley of mountains. More, not so much for points, but more aesthetic vibes. Or we could have a river maybe snaking around here and ending up there. Because this seems to be the spot where all the rivers empty into. So, yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go, yeah, maybe it goes here. So let's just erase that. So, and maybe we'll go 1, 2, 3. Oh, I've messed this up. Hang on. Yep. Sorry, I've messed this up. It was 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Sorry. 4, 5. Okay. I lost my bearings a bit there. Okay. If it turns out that I need to give myself a little bit more space in, for example, here to draw a forest or something like that, I can just make some adjustments. For example, I'll just do it now so you can see. I can say, oh, actually, that I drew that mountain a little bit too far to the left. I'm not changing the positioning of it. I'm just kind of changing the size of it, so you can make kind of adjustments like that as you go. That is totally okay. It's not, you're not supposed to be punished just because you drew something too big or too small. That's totally fine. Okay, and we keep going. 2 and 5 again. Well, I think now we could do, 5 houses is not bad. Or 5 streams is also good because that gets us closer to our forest. So let's do that. Oh, I haven't even looked at the 5th. Yeah, no, let's do that. We'll do 5 streams. And so that we can say that this is the beginning of this river. That's 1 stream. So 1 there. It's the beginning of this river. 1 stream here. 1 here. Kind of starts off at this castle and this river. And so we've done 3 already. And for the other 2, you can have them branch off rivers. So you can have this, you can have a stream flow into a river like this. Or you can also have them branch off lakes or even just coastlines. So maybe there's a little stream flowing into the mountains down here. All right, that's that. 2 and 5 again. Now I do want to add forest now. So let's do 5 forest. And we need to work out where we're going to put this. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. So it's worth mentioning I can't cross over this river diagonally like that because that's in, like I can't even cross over here because this river's in the way, but I can go around. That is okay. So I think we'll do that. Or we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here maybe. Actually, that makes more sense. So we'll go here. I'm going to do a bit of a kind of an oak type forest, aka a bit of a large cloud of bushy trees. Here, actually, that seems where I didn't draw it big enough. I think it's nice if the coastline, the forest follows the direction of this river and stream a little bit, the shape of it. There we go. And yeah, that's my second forest. Okay. I won't draw all the tree trunks, just a few to suggest that this is a forest and not just a amorphous cloud that's overcome our map. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay. Let's keep going. 1 and 3. I don't want to get stuck with if something happens, I roll double ones. So I think now is a good chance to do maybe just one name. One name. So I mentioned before, names can be anywhere and can apply to anything. And at this point, I want to point out the border of the game sheet contains a lot of mappy words that you can use to help give names to the different elements of your map. So just looking around here, Stone Point, Grey Wall, maybe Grey Wall. This can be, and it's close. It's really, yeah. Grey Wall is the capital of this pretty not very densely populated area right now. Not many houses there. A few scattered landmarks. I guess maybe there was an ancient civilization that used to occupy the lands, and these are the only remnants of them, except and everyone is just kind of situated in Grey Wall right now. But we might be able to add some more houses to our map, hopefully in the future. So let's continue though. 5 and 6. In fact, not even in the future. Let's do it now. So we could do. We could do a big forest. That could be good too with the 5. I was going to do houses. I was really keen to do those, but I do think that using our final forest and applying a big number to it is good. And we have space here because we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, let's do that. So this forest is crossing over 5 intersections, and it's kind of getting near this temple. This is kind of a temple hidden by the forest. And it also makes sense that these rivers around here are feeding the forest, perhaps. It's very, very wooded map, this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yep, so I just need to go up here. So this particular map is very suggestive, I think, of adding, of what it gives us lots of suggestions, I should say, but where to add roads. I can imagine a road going up here. So if we do have another road feature, because right now the only one is just leading to this, maybe this is a forest hiking trail, but it's just leading here. So a few more roads might be good just for story wise. No, we keep going. 6 and 5. All right, that's good. All right, now I think 6 lakes could be good. In fact, do want to add houses, but I really think adding 6 lakes is going to be good for our Verdant Vistas quest. So let's do that. So we put 6 there. And we want to put lakes in spaces that don't have rivers and forests because they're already scoring. So maybe we'll chuck one here. That's 1. One here. That's 2. Here, 3. They can be any size. They just need to be fit inside a space. You can even put 2 in the same space. I like the idea of one here. It's like there's a gap in the forest and there's a lake there. It's kind of cool. So that's 4 so far. We need one around this temple. I feel like that kind of, made the little moat that was put there. And the last one, how about we go? Maybe we'll go. Maybe up here. Maybe there's a little lake behind the keep, like that. All right, there we go. That's lakes. Oh, 6 and 5 again. All right, I need to start shaking these a bit more. Okay, now let's do our 6 houses, and we are up to 9 houses here. So that's 6 more is gonna actually max out our score for this capital quest. So, but that's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the capital of Greywall. I should just correct that. It's going to max out our score for this space. We can earn more points for a different space that has houses in it. All right, we'll press on. 3 and 4. We haven't done this landmark yet. I've totally forgot that. All right, let's do that. Yeah, we need to finish that. 3 should be, yeah. So now I don't want to put it. Yeah, well, let's see what we get. Hopefully, I can avoid putting it near another landmark. 3 and 3 or 3 and 2. So 3 and 2 would be no good because that would mean that if it's here, it's next to. Well, firstly, this is just a dense area of forest, so I can't put it there anyway. But it wouldn't be good because there's another landmark next to it. Same goes for this space here, but this space here is okay. And I could do basically anything except for a mine. I can't really do a mine because it's not on a mountain. Yeah, so that's not going to work. So I can't do a mine, but I can do anything else. And I think maybe a castle could be good. The idea of a castle kind of by this lake sounds appealing to me. And so I'm just going to make a little bit of space by raising some of that forest and drawing my castle here. This one has a bit of a different style than the first castle I drew. And there is this lakeside woodland castle right there. And that was 3 and 3. And that was a castle. And the main reason I chose a castle as well is because it is going to give us points for the capital quest. All right, keep going. 3 and 5. So I could finish this wedge by adding 5 streams, or I finished that one by adding 3 roads. Let's do the 3 roads because I'm not very happy with that road network so far. I think we need to do better there. So we do 3. And let's have the road. Let's actually start a new road. Starting from here, and we'll go 1, 2, 3. And in general, features cannot overlap other features, with the exception being that roads and rivers can cross one another. When that happens, you just draw a little bridge where when they're crossing. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3. And because I have finished this wedge, I can fill that in now, and I'm getting closer to getting more points for the close the wheel quest. 1 and 4. So I could do 1 road, 1 name, 1 river. Oh, I forgot. Didn't know I had another river. Or I could do 4 islands or 4 names. I think I will do 1 river. And I'll actually have the river start from this lake here and just cross over this one line here into this bay. Like that. There we go. All right. Double 6s. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm getting pretty lucky with the dice rolls here, I have to say. We're not going to earn any points for names really, except points earned by closing the wheel. So I will choose 6 houses, and I should really add them to this space here. So I will do that. I'll just make a bit more room. Raising this, and add my 6 houses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have a second little kind of township by the lake in the forest. We keep going. 2 and 5. All right, 2 and 5. So can't add anything to the 5th wedge. So it's going to have to be 5 rows of 5 houses. Let's do. Roads could be good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could go up there, but let's do 5 houses because they will score points. Although we've already maxed out the points according to the current rules when we have a 20-point cap on each quest scoring. So I think with that in mind, we won't add any more houses here, and let's try to create something a little bit interesting. Maybe have one house here. This can be like a little bit of a hermit's house by the lake outside of Greywall. So that's one. I think we need one by the bridge. So that's two. We need what else do we need? Maybe a couple near this temple, and them both here. And we need one on this island. I think nothing is happening on this island, but there is one random house. Someone has tried to get away from it all and taken a ship over to this island. So there are 5 houses. All right, 3 and 4. So let's do 4, 3. Let's do 3 roads. We filled in that wedge completely. Oh no, we haven't. Forgot the names. Oops. Let's fix that. My mistake. All right, so 3. This could go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Just thinking. Oh yeah, maybe. Oh yeah. All right, let's have this road branch out here, cross the river here, and snake its way around to this hidden temple by the lake. Double 5s. Oh, now that would usually spell doom. That would spell the end of the game. However, we still have a couple of abilities left. We have the temple, which allows us to add or subtract 1, so that will ensure we're safe. Or we have the keep, which just lets us skip this round. I kind of want to add some more names, so I think we will. Actually, we'll just skip this round. So I'm just gonna skip it totally. So check mark there, and we re-roll 2 and 3. So we still have the temple ability safe. So do 2 streams or 3 roads. Let's do 3 roads. Maybe a little road can just come from these ruins. Go 1, 2, 3. Maybe this is a path that an explorer once took, and then that's as far as they made it. Oh, and we filled in the second wedge. Now we actually have filled that in, unlike the full one that I mistakenly shaded in. 5 and 3. So 5 wedges filled. So I'm gonna have to do 5 streams filling up third wedge. 5 streams. So we can have a stream branching out here, flowing into this river. Maybe we can have, so that's 1. You can also have streams flowing into lakes. So this could be 2. Maybe 3, 4. One more, 5. So again, with these configuration of quest streams aren't really scoring anything, but they will in other quests. All right, let's keep going. 5 and 6. All right, so let's do 5 names. This is quite a bit of our map. Doesn't have a name. So let's. We feel like we need to name this this area here. It's got a lake. It's got forest. It's got a bunch of houses and a castle. So I'm thinking this can be Swamp Fort. Of course, there is always always revert to the names around the map to help you, but I always think it's good to come up with your own. Swamp Fort, and then we have the temple. Let's say temple. Maybe this is the Temple of Philosophy. Philosophy, if I can spell it correctly. Next, we have this island here. This can be the Lonely Island. We also have some forest area, and we have this keep here. So we've done 3 names. Maybe the keep can be the stony keep. Stony keep up here. And we need one more. And last thing, we really should name one of these big forests, I think. Or maybe this can be technically like one big forest, maybe. And let's see. So, oh yeah, maybe the shadow forest. The shadow forest. All right, it's a bit messy. Probably should have erased a little bit. Shadow forest. You get the idea. Okay. All right. And at this point, we've closed all but 2 wedges. So we really need a 1 and a 4 as part of this next roll. Okay. 4 and 5 that was. So that's going to give us, we still have a temple to use, but that's not going to help us at all anyway in this case. So we do finish this wedge finally. And we're going to add 5 more names. That's good because there's still a few things that we haven't named. We haven't named this one house here, which is, of course, Hermit's Cottage. I have Hermit's Cottage here. We also have some rivers that we haven't named. Oh, well, let's do this. This can be Oak Woods. Oak Woods. We have a bay here. Maybe this can be Ragged Bay. Ragged Bay. We need 2 more. This mountain can be, it's such a nothing mountain, but I think it'd be funny to give it like a really unnecessarily epic name. So maybe the Forsaken Mountain. For some reason, this is, it kind of makes sense. There's nothing really around, no houses are around here. And in fact, let's make it the Forsaken Mountains, incorporating these both these mountains. And then lastly, what's something else we haven't named? Maybe river. Maybe this is well, the Temple of Philosophy. It kind of goes from there. So maybe this can be Deep Thoughts River. Oh, my writing. I should have Deep Thought River. All right. Very good. All right. So now I could actually just stop here, or I could keep going. And in fact, I would only, because names and islands aren't going to help us much for scoring. I'd only be continuing just for the fun of it, because we've already scored 20 points for our Close the Wheel quest. However, as I mentioned, we are likely to get rid of that scoring cap. So I think it's let's go for gold and try to get a 1 in this last round. We didn't, so that is going to be, we can't use the temple for anything because changing the 3 to, yeah, that's not going to help us, because subtracting or adding 1 won't give us the number 1. So that is going to be it. Of course, even if I had rolled a 1, I could have just said, oh no, I'm going to stop anyway. But I'm forced to stop, and you may have stopped before me if you're playing along, or you may still have a couple more rounds in to go, but likely not. You'll probably only have 1 more round after this if you are still going. But that is Fantasy Mapmaker. So that's how you play. And the final thing to do is to score it up, of course. So one thing I didn't do at the start, I should have, is just to put the quest numbers here. And in this case, they're all the number 1 that you can see on the middle right part. And then we go through when we score. So first, Endless Coast is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, so close. So close to the 20 points. Not to worry. So that is 19. Next, we have Distant Lands. So each landmark cannot have a landmark in a surrounding space, and they're all safe. So that's the full 20 points. Next, verdant vistas, we get 1 point per space that has a forest and a river or a lake. So I find it easiest just to basically scan each row and then just count as you go. So no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 for that one. Towns, we definitely maxed that out because we got 15 points for that one, for this space, 5 points for this space, and then, well, actually, we didn't, we only got 20 anyway. Thought we got more than that, but we didn't. And for the wheel quest, we closed 4 wedges, so we earned 20 points as well. So we did quite well here. We got all but 4 points, so we scored 96 points. And what you would do if you're playing solo, what you would do is look at the scores on the bottom of each card for the 3 Ultima opponents. So we have the Explorer, the Artist, and the Master, and you would just add them up. And so if we start with the Explorer, they'd get 15 plus 15, so 30, 44 plus 15, 59 plus 14, so they'd get 73. And then for the Artist and the Master, the next 2 opponents, all you need to do is just add 10 points. So the Artist got 83 and the Master got 93. However, if you are playing with events, that's going to change things a little bit because the Ultima opponents will lose points for different events. But I hope this gives you an idea about the game. And if you were playing along with me, or if you have any other thoughts, let me know how you did in the comments. I'd love to hear how your playthrough went, and if you were able to beat my mammoth score of 96. And if you wanted to play without the scoring cap, I think that's totally fine as well. Also, if you have a question about the rules or anything else, feel free to drop that in the comments. And of course, the Kickstarter for the physical edition of the game is currently live. So please consider backing it if this game seems interesting to you, because I'd love to get your support. And again, if you have supported the game already, then thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to making this as this whole product as nice as possible when it comes to putting together the boxed edition. So please look forward to that. But that'll be it for this video. So thank you for sticking around to the end. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.